Hey everyone, my name is Marshall Mind, and in this video I'm gonna give you guys a few tips, mostly tricks on how I control my opponent on the ground, and I'm gonna break this down into 5 positions on the ground over 5 different videos. And the first position is the guard, the second one is half guard, the third one side control, fourth mount, and the last position is the back mount. Complete understanding of how these positions work is definitely going to help you dominate a lot of people on the ground, and also hopefully make you guys appreciate the ground game a little bit more, because a lot of people seem to think it's cheap, and it's far from that. So without wasting much time, let's get to it. In this video, the first position I'm going to talk about is the guard. Now usually when you take people down in EA Sports UFC, you end up in the guard. And even though it's very risky to do this, because you could get swept, you could get put in rubber guard, which is completely broken right now, or you could just lose the position altogether, it is still very possible to maintain top control in guard. So let's talk about how to maintain top control in guard and also pass the guard. This right here requires some very sharp reflexes and an understanding of left and right, and the ability to pay close attention. In the guard, your opponent could try to sweep you to the left, he could try to sweep you to the right, he could try to get you in rubber guard, or he could try to push you off, or he could try to go for a submission. To defend against the sweep to the left, you hold R2 and hold the right stick to the left. And I'm not talking about your fighter's left, I'm talking about your left side. To deny the sweep to the right, you hold R2 and hold your right stick to your right side, and that will deny it. And to deny the get up attempt, which is when your opponent puts his foot on your hips to push you off, you hold R2 and down on the right stick, and that will deny the attempt. Now this is all easier said than done because of how dangerous the guard can be, which is why it's just not enough to remember in your head how to deny these transitions. You have to get so good at it that it becomes muscle memory, where you don't even have to think about it, you just react. This is also why I suggest to people, don't stay in guard. The second you take your opponent down and end up in guard, your next move should be to pass the guard, get to side control, get to mount, and try to finish the fight from there. So, how do I pass the guard? Well, the easiest way to pass the guard in EA Sports UFC is to use the stacked guard. And the reason why you want to use the stacked guard is because, apart from the fact that the stacked guard gets you directly from guard to side control, a vast majority of players, including very good players, find it difficult to defend against the transition from stacked guard to side control. It is very hard to tell which direction your opponent is going to go to, and because of that, you have a 50-50 chance of whether you're going to guess correctly or not. So to get to side control from guard, you hold L1 and spin your right stick from 6 to 9, or from 6 to 3. Either way is going to do it. Now when you're in stack guard, spin your stick from 6 to 9 to go to side control left. And to get to side control right, you spin the right stick from 6 to 3, and that will take you to side control right. Now, the one thing you need to remember is that when you're in stacked guard, your opponent can do a few things, okay? They can sweep you and end up in guard, in your guard. He can pull you down to his guard, or he can kick you off, and to deny all of this is very tricky, but once again, it's very possible. To deny the sweep attempt, which will make them end up in your guard, hold R2 and hold your right stick to your left. And you'll know he's about to attempt the sweep because the first thing he'll do is grab a hold of your ankles. And that's your cue to hold R2 and hold your right stick to the left, to your left. To deny the pull down to guard, hold R2 and hold your right stick to the right, and you'll know he's about to pull you down to his guard because the first thing he'll do is he'll kind of grab sort of close to your knees, not your ankles, but closer to your knees, and that's your cue to hold R2 and hold your right stick to the right to deny that. And to deny the push-off attempt, okay? Hold R2 and hold down on your right stick. And you'll know he's about to push you off because he'll bend his knees like he's about to push you off. Like I said, denying all these transitions in stat guard can be very tricky, so you have to try to pass as soon as you get stacked guard. Now, sometimes you might be using a fighter that doesn't have the transition to stat guard and you're trying to pass your opponent's guard to half guard and he's denying it over and over again, so what do? Well, here's a trick that a lot of good players use all the time. When you're in guard and your fighter doesn't have the stat guard and you can't pass the guard to half guard, what you do is you press down on your left stick to get up, and as soon as you get up, flick your right stick towards your opponent, and that gets you directly into stat guard, and from there you can then try to pass to side control. Once again, press down on your left stick, that gets you up. As soon as you get up, flick your right stick towards your opponent, and that gets you directly into stat guard, and from there you can then try to pass to side control. So that's pretty much all you need to know about the guard when it comes to dominating in the guard top. You also have to remember that stamina plays a huge role in whether you'll be able to effectively deny these transitions. So always keep your stamina high when you're on the ground, especially when you're on top and you're trying to control your opponent and you're trying to get the finish. And practice the ground game as much as you possibly can, because like I said earlier, this is not about brain memory, where you have to think and then remember and then perform the action. No, it's muscle memory. You don't have time to think, you just have to react, and the only way you'll be able to get good at this is by practicing it as much as you possibly can. You will not get good at this if all you do in fights is just try to strike. If you're not trying to take your opponent to the ground and dominate them on the ground, if you're not constantly practicing these positions, you're not going to get good at it. So you have to try to practice it. So that's it for the guard. In the next video, which I'll be uploading sometime tomorrow, I'll be talking about half guard, and the day after that I'll be talking about side control and so forth. And there are a few very interesting tricks that I have to teach you guys from half guard, so look out for that video tomorrow. But that's it for this one. I really hope this was informative. I hope you at least learned something you didn't know before, and if you already know all of this, then well, disregard this particular video and look forward to the next ones. If the video was informative and if it was entertaining, leave a like in the comments and let me know. And also, if you have any questions at all about the guard, any questions at all, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them as soon as I possibly can. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys soon. Be safe.